Hello again, this is Sabrina Moreland with the Walter State Library, and I have created a video that explains how to navigate the Literature Resource Center for your modern American literature assignment, comparing and contrasting either two short stories and their themes or two poems. So we will begin on the Walter State library homepage, and it has actually changed since last semester. So it's just ws.edu/library, or on the Walter State page, you can go to resources and click on library from there. So a couple ways of accessing this. When you scroll down to around the middle of the page, you'll see the database index, the book catalog, interlibrary loan, etc. Here is how to cite those sources that I referenced in the first video. So to get to the databases, we're going to click on the database index, and then we will narrow this subject link to just English. And so now this should look a little more familiar. So we will begin towards the bottom on the Literature Resource Center. And since I'm working remotely today and I'm not on campus, we will log in using our eLearn username and password. If you were on campus, though, accessing the databases, it should take you directly to the appropriate page. So while that's spinning, this looks a little bit like the opposing viewpoints database you might have used in the past. Lots of good information. Sometimes you get lucky, like I just did. The yellow wallpaper is featured there. Sometimes your works are there. Your authors will be listed. Generally, we start off with this basic search box. They have recently added a Browse Topics link in this database. So this is a great place to go if you're trying to find some additional search terms, either for this assignment or even future assignments. Lots of different types of literature listed, themes, parts of history. Really great place to start. When I go back to that initial page, I'd like to go to the basic search box, and I'm going to start with my author. And I'm not going to click on anything the database recommends. So I have Charlotte Perkins Gilman in there. I'm going to start with her. It is very important that this red line is under literature criticism, because that is the type of source we're looking for. Now, if you have this chance to use biographical information or look at reviews, you can do that, but typically we just say stick to literature criticism. On the right, we can use these filters to to narrow down our results a little bit. One of the things you can do is click on name of work, and we could just check that box next to the story and then view those 51 results that's for the yellow wallpaper. I do like to narrow the document type to critical essay, because that will remove just brief sort of summaries of the work, or reviews of maybe performances that are somehow done on that. So I like to just change that to critical essay and hit apply. And that's reduced my results a little bit. I can also use search within to add layers to my research. So I could put in the name of the work, the yellow wallpaper, in print or in quotation marks. And that gives me 143 results. And then, since that's quite a few still, I could use search within again to add some of those third elements we've talked about. So I could put in feminism or motherhood or patriarchy. And now I get 98 results. And so each one of these should relate to that story and that author in some way. Now, sometimes the titles seem a bit strange. They don't seem to really include what you're talking about. With this type of research, you have to generally go into the article and search for the areas that apply to your research. You're not likely to find an entire article that addresses everything you want to say about that one piece of literature. So keep that in mind when you're doing research. You also have the option of using the advanced search feature. So we'll go there. That's usually good if you have too many results still. Now this is going to what you might have used in the past as well, these boxes, and then using these Boolean operators and or not to narrow our topics down. So I might start in a different way this time. I might put in feminism, and spelling does count there. So I have that. And my field says keyword, which is really important. And then I might add Charlotte Perkins Gilman to my second box. And then, very important, I'm going to change this field to keyword again, because if you leave them at what they're preset to, it limits your results. In my third box, I'm going to change this to or, because I want to see if there's anything out there on my other author. So I'm going to put in Susan Glaspel, and again, change that to keyword. And then we'll see what happens. I'm going to hit search after adding all of that information. And I only have 86 results for literature criticism. This is a little bit repetitive in this database, but we need to check critical essay again and hit apply. And now I have 67 results. And I like to use that search within to narrow that even more. So I could try marriage or patriarchy. 45 results. And then I could put in a title to see if that would help. So I might try trifles this time. And I get 19, which is pretty manageable. I can stop there. I can start to look at different titles that seem applicable. I can go into these different articles and see if they're going to be helpful or not. So I'm going to click on reconfiguring the subject recuperating realism. Susan Glaspel's name's in there. We'll see if that's good or not. So we go into one of these articles. And this is an HTML view of this document. And everything you use in your search term should be in red text. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of that there, but we do know for sure this is about Susan Glaspel's writing. And we see trifles mentioned and a jury of her peers mentioned, which again is that short story based on this play. Or vice versa, I guess you'd say. So this might be a very good article to use. I just need to make sure I save that in some fashion. So there are options for that. We can download it, we can print it off, and we can email it to ourselves. When we download, and it doesn't always work the way it should, but oftentimes when we download this, it will be in PDF form. And you can check to see if there are page numbers listed. And lately I've not had a lot of luck with that in this database, but it does give you a different view of that. And you can perhaps find a way to figure out what page applies to the quote or paraphrase you're using in your paper. But this does save this to your device. When you email it to yourself, you click on Send To and then Email. And then you are both the sender and the recipient. So you put your email addresses in there, and then you would have that saved in your email, which is very helpful because sometimes it's hard to remember what we clicked on or what we entered to get to that really good article. You can also obtain the citation for the MLA Works Cited page here by clicking on Cite. It is automatically set to MLA 9th edition. So all I'd have to do is copy and paste this into my Works Cited page. Now, I've already have this set up for Times New Roman 12-point font, so I can merge my formatting to make sure my font always matches. But I'd want to make sure this is written the way it's supposed to be. I'd want to use one of those citation guides just to double check because you want to make sure the author's written correctly. You want to make sure everything's capitalized the way it should be in the title and that the appropriate elements are italicized. But all the information's there. So that's how we navigate and find articles in the Literature Resource Center. This is just one of the many databases you can use to find that type of source for your paper. So thank you for listening, and be sure to look at the other videos for using databases for this research project.